What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Royalty Gamers and Podcast. I'm your host, Jersey the King, and today I am bringing you my first video of my other video series, USFL Fresh Start. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it.
Yeah! Hey! Down! Go!
In today's video, we're going to be talking about serious talk from the USFL in regards to expanding and furthering their league and possibly moving it across the country. Now, this isn't speculation. This isn't, I'm just guessing or doing this for views. This is actual real talk about the USFL expanding. Now, it started back in 2021. Up until about 2 weeks ago, they've been working on getting trademarks for old team logos. Now, a lot of people are saying, maybe they're just bringing those logos back and getting trademarks for them for merchandise purposes, or, for maybe like a throwback merchandise. Either way, it's more than likely for merchandise. And my thing is, why would they do that if they restarted the league back up to, of course, not just stay at 8 teams, but eventually expand and add more teams into the mix to make the season longer, to make the league bigger? So my theory, in common knowledge, if they're going to go and get trademarks and they're putting in requests to get trademarks for the old logos to bring back certain teams, I think it's not just for merchandise purposes. I think it's seriously expansion talk. Now, I want to go over the teams with you guys and just let you guys know who they're thinking about bringing in, and of course what logos and trademarks that they're looking to, what logos that they're looking to get the trademarks for to bring back. Now, the first team that they started back with, or they started the process with back in 2021, was with the Denver Gold. Right there. The Denver Gold, guys. So that's an 80s team back from the 1980s version of the USFL. And, of course, they were located on the West Coast, on the West, Mountain West, in Denver, Colorado. So with them doing that, that tells me expansion. And the reason why I say that is because majority of the USFL teams right now are on the East Coast and in the Southeast. I guess you can say Midwest or Central, and then you got one team in the South. Other than that, everything on the West Coast, the Mountain West area, hell, even the North, all of it's nothing. Like, there's no presence of the USFL. So for them to put in a request to get the trademarks back for the Denver Gold tells me that they're looking to expand into the West Coast. Now, hitting that market and bringing a spring football team to the league, to that area, for pro football to be still around in April, May, June, July, it's going to be a huge win for the USFL if they decide to do that, if that's the route that they're going. Because with the XFL not taking advantage of that, it gives that opportunity for the USFL to just sneak in, grab that market, and start advertising, put a team out there, start giving us good spring football out there. So it's a win situation for the USFL if they do decide to bring that team back, as well as if they decide to move a hub out there. Now they can really expand to the West Coast. But we don't know about the hub idea yet because of the traveling. But again, it's a possibility. Now, the next team that they're looking to bring back and get the trademarks for as well is the Oakland Invaders. Right there, Oakland Invaders. And as you see there, it's just a fist with a lightning bolt. It's like a Zeus hand with a lightning bolt. But they're an Oakland, California team. And to be wanting to bring back an Oakland team tells me still that they're trying to expand into the West Coast. So it just makes sense that it's not for merchandise purchase or purposes. It's for actually bringing back a team. So I feel that with them trying to target the Oakland market, they're definitely trying to get a head start in the expansion race against the XFL, because the XFL no longer has a LA team or a San Francisco team. So it just gives me the notion that the USFL is trying to target that market again and bring spring football back out to that area. Now, again, that would be huge for them, because if they do bring back the Denver Gold and then bring back the Oakland Invaders, now they've added their 2 teams to the league, got it up to a 10-team league, and now they have 2 teams on the West Coast. So now you're expanding the league for sure. You're expanding your presence of the league. Let me say that, because now people on the West Coast is not only have a team, but now they get to really cheer for the USFL to succeed because there's a team. So it benefits the USFL in a huge way that they're going to bring back that team, or at least attempt to, and try and target that area. No telling, they might do it starting next year, you know what I mean, or the year after. They're already on their second season. So if their second season is successful, why not try and expand at least two teams, you know what I mean, in the third season, especially if the second season is successful. So I just feel that with them putting in these trademark requests and doing it all the way back in 2021 till now, because they just recently got put in for more. We'll get into here in a moment. About 2 weeks ago. So they're literally in a serious talk of expansion, and I feel that that's the move that they're making, because there would be no other reason. They're not just going to bring it back to sell merchandise, old merchandise, like throwback team merchandise as well. I don't think they're just going to do that. So they might get the trademarks back and revamp the logos, you know what I mean? Change up the color, maybe, whatever the case. And I feel that they're going to really try to expand. Now, the third team that they put in for back in 2021 was the Washington Federals. And the Washington Federals was a DC-based team. There's the logo right there. And it's a DC-based team. And if they're looking to bring back a DC team, that would be huge. That would be huge. And the reason why I say is because of the DC Defenders in the XFL. Now you have 2 teams based in DC competing for fans, competing for ratings, competing for attendance. So whether the games or the seasons are held during the same time or not, you're still competing. And now it comes down to which league's team does better in that area. And if the XFL's DC Defenders were to do better than the Washington Federals, then they may more than likely move them to probably Washington State so they can keep the name. You know what I mean? Which would make sense. They can keep the name. They'll just be a West Coast team instead of an East Coast team, which would be dope. You know what I mean? Because then they'll still be battling right against the XFL's Seattle Sea Dragons. So either way, they can stick that Washington Federals team in either DC or stick them in Washington State, and either way they're going to be battling an XFL team for supremacy in spring ball. So that's a benefit as well for them, because if, like I said, if they can hit either one of them areas with another spring team and get higher ratings, get higher attendance, sell more merchandise, whatever the case may be, then it puts them in the expansion race even further. It puts them ahead even further in the expansion race, because now they're able to not only target the same market as the XFL, but do better. And that's just a if. You know what I mean? That's just a if. You never know what their plans might be. They might just move the team entirely. We never know what they're doing with these logos and these trademarks for these team names and nicknames and logos and things of that nature. So we just got to wait and see what they do, how they use them, and when we should expect to see some type of expansion. Now, there's 3 more teams, and this is what they just recently did about 2 weeks ago. They put in for the following 3 teams. Now, one is going to be your Jacksonville Bulls. Right there. Jacksonville Bulls. Now, again, these are all 80s teams. They put in for Jacksonville, so they're looking to bring back a Florida team. And if that's the case, we may even see the Tampa Bay Bandits come back as well. So this is interesting. This is very interesting, because if they bring back the Jacksonville Bulls and do also decide to bring back the Tampa Bay Bandits, now you got 2 Florida teams. You know what I'm saying? And they're in 2 different markets than the US or the XFL team. So now you're kind of either forcing the XFL to bring a Jacksonville team in, bring back a Tampa Bay team, or bring a Miami team in to have that 2-team base market, or that 2-team market target in Florida. And I feel if the USFL were to bring back both the Jacksonville Bulls and the Tampa Bay Bandits, then the Orlando Guardians should stay in Orlando, and then they bring out a Miami team. Just makes sense. That'll give you 4 spring teams in 2 different leagues, and pretty good competition as far as battling for ratings and attendance. So that's also, like I said, a benefit if they can do well in that market area and bring back a spring team in that market area, to where now folks can get NFL football, winter football, you know what I'm saying, and USFL football, spring football. So it's a huge step for the USFL to be taking, to even request these trademarks and look to expand the league. That's all it could really mean, honestly. I mean, common sense. They're not going to put in these trademark requests to get these rights back to literally sit here and just sell merchandise. I don't believe that. Sell merchandise and memorabilia and all that shit. I don't believe that. I believe that they're really trying to expand, and then maybe bringing these logos and back and these names back, and maybe revamping them and putting the teams either back in the same market area or putting them in different market areas. We never know. But like I said, it just doesn't make any sense for them to do it for just market purposes, or marketing purposes and memorabilia and selling merchandise and things. It just doesn't make sense. Okay. And I just feel like bringing back a team like Jacksonville will boost spring league football in either league. So it's a good move for them to make. It's a good move for them to want to take, as far as expanding the league as well, bringing more teams to the Southeast, and just trying to take over a good portion of the country with spring football teams. Now, this next team is interesting. The Chicago Blitz. And the reason why I say it's interesting, there's a logo right there. But the reason why I say it's interesting is because this right now, as far as I know, is one of the only ones that's actually pending for approval, and maybe actually approved sometime soon. Um, so that means we may be getting a blitz team. It may not be in Chicago because, as you see, the logo just says the Blitz, but we may be getting a blitz team back possibly next year. And they could do it because they could bring back the Bandits and then bring the Blitz back and stick them wherever they want. Chicago, wherever. You know what I mean? So that's huge. If they put them in Chicago, now you're targeting that Chicago market where the XFL isn't, because they don't have the Chicago enforcers right now. So now you're targeting that Chicago market, that Midwest market, in a deep, high football fan area. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of fans in Chicago who love football, whether it may be the NFL or spring. You know what I mean? Hell, if the spring team's doing better than the NFL team, you're going to get more people who's going to watch the spring team. I guarantee it. So if they do manage to take on that Chicago area and put a team back in there and really expand out that way, it's going to benefit the USFL. Again, putting any of these teams back in the league will help them. It will help them in expanding. It'll give fans more football. It'll give fans more teams to root for as far as in their local area and things of that nature, especially if they don't have an NFL team and they want a football team. So it's about targeting those areas really that need teams. So some of these teams may not be where they were in the 80s. You know what I mean? They may get moved. So, like I said, it's only time can tell. You know what I mean? But this Blitz logo here, again, this is the only one, as far as I know, that's pending approval to be used here in the very, very, very near future. Let me just put it that way. Okay, so just be on the lookout for announcements coming from the USFL, of course, and Fox, and their Twitters and things of that nature, so that you're up to date on this information as well, like I am. And we'll hear some news soon. So it's just a matter of a waiting game, of course, and just being prepared for the announcement. Now, this last team that they're talking about bringing back, we head back over to the West Coast. We head back over to the West, and it may even be the Midwest. They're thinking about bringing back the Arizona or Oklahoma Outlaws. Now, this was an 80s team. It was in Arizona. They were the Wranglers, and they changed their names to the Outlaws, and they were originally in Arizona when they first did the name change from the Wranglers to the Outlaws, and now they're the Oklahoma Outlaws. So, again, they may stick it in Arizona. They may stick it in Oklahoma. We don't know. But either way, if you put a spring football team in either of these areas, it's going to be huge, especially if you put it in Oklahoma. Because if you put it in Oklahoma where they don't have a pro football team, all they have is college football. You feel what I'm saying? They don't have an NFL team. They may have, other league football teams, like an indoor league or maybe a arena football league or something like that. But as far as an NFL team, a pro football, a top league football team, they don't have one. As far as a spring league football team in the XFL, they don't have one. So to target that Oklahoma area would be awesome, because now they get to target an area that needs a pro football team, like a spring league pro football team that's getting nationally televised. You know what I'm saying? And getting some type of recognition. So that's going to be huge. Even if they were to put the team in Arizona, that'll still be huge for them as well. There's plenty of market areas in Arizona that they can put a team in and it be successful. High attendance, you know what I'm saying, especially in these months, in the spring and summer months, you know what I mean? You'll get high attendance, you'll get high ratings, the whole nine, especially if they are a good team and they are decent and have a good record, and win games. So, again, it's all about the ratings, it's all about the views, it's all about the marketing. So if it's done correctly and they bring in these teams the right way, and even if it's a slow process, 2 at a time, you know what I mean, 4 at a time, whatever the case, however they do it, it'll have to be 2 at a time to make to they could do 4. They could do 4 put it up to 12, and then do another 4 and put it up to 16. So it's up to them. You know what I mean? Like I said, they already have the Bandits. They were waiting on approval for the Chicago team. They just put in for this Outlaws team. Again, the Denver Gold, the Oakland Invaders, the Washington Federals, and the Jacksonville Bulls. So that's 6 teams plus the Bandits that they're looking to bring back into the USFL. So again, this is serious talk. This is legitimate information that I'm giving you. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass to get views. This is legitimate information. So now the expansion talk for the USFL is real. They're into their second season. They'll be going into the third season. So it's likely that they could be looking to expand depending on the success of this 2023 season. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that this is a real push for the USFL to expand going into their third season next year? Or do you think that it may be for just merchandise purposes or marketing purposes for some odd reason that they might do some type of throwback something? You know what I mean? Let me know what you guys think. I really want to hear from you guys, and we can keep this conversation going. Again, this is the first video of the new video series, USFL Fresh Start, where it's going to be all USFL. So keep it locked right here. I'm your boy, Jersey the King. We are Royalty Gamers and Podcast. Holla at ya, boy.
I'm so raw. Yeah, boy, I'm so raw. I'm so raw. I'm a singer, not a